So the Congress is getting themselves back together, organized, and as you know, the House will still be controlled by the lunatic party.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to the fact that they have to choose the chairmen, I guess, of the various committees.
Yes.
So let us now go to the chair of the House Science.
I don't know what this. I honestly do not know what this is, but I can't help but think it's going to be great. Okay.
Oh, of course. Well, first of all, the guy who is already the head, he has to step down because they have a
term limit.
A term limit thing, and it's no great loss, I assure you. We never even – you see, when you're the Republican head of the Science Committee, you're not real high profile because they don't believe in science, so nothing happens.
Right. It's like being in the Catholic Diocese Contraception Committee or something like that.
Something
you spend
like
a lot of time by yourself.
That's right. Exactly. So he was no champion of science, and he did not think that people had much of anything to do with global warming.
Right.
And because he said, his quote was, "I don't think that we
Period.
can Okay, we'll just leave it at that.
Sorry.
I don't think we can control what God controls. And then he said he was actually more fearful of freezing.
Oh, yeah. Because his toes get cold in the winter?
No.
Let's just... Okay. Who is... Well, can we tell us who this guy is, or are we building to something?
This is the renowned representative, the Honorable Ralph Hall.
From?
Texas.
Of course.
The great nation of Texas.
That's right.
Okay. Now.
Can we just hold up for 1 second? What did he say about God again? I don't think
I don't think we can control what God controls.
Let's just unpack that at this basic level.
Okay, let's argue the point.
God sometimes takes people away from us. People die.
Yes.
Does that mean we can't murder people?
Yeah, what about our inalienable right to murder people?
What happened to free will?
Yeah, what happened to our will? Didn't God give us a free will? All right, never mind.
Okay, keep going. Though. This is good.
Okay, so 3 of the longstanding members of the committee, most senior members, are now wrangling among themselves to be the next chair.
Of that committee?
Of that committee.
Oh, I thought he was going to be the guy.
No,
that's
he has to step down.
That's the guy who's leaving. Okay, all right. Well, that's too bad.
He's stepping down, so now here's the 3 possible replacements, apparently.
Each one better than the last.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, first of all, the state sounds better. We're moving from Texas to California.
Oh, yep.
Okay, and that would be Dana Rohrabacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a name that somehow we know.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. What does Rohrabacher think? Let's go to his webpage. I see. He believes that scientists have made up global warming as part of a, quote, radical agenda to change our very way of life.
Goddamn scientists.
Or he also suggested in a hearing, this is Rohrabacher, that historic global warming, I mean, he says there's been global warming always. He said, you go back to way back and you had a global warming caused by, quote, dinosaur flatulence. Do you think I'm making this up? This is why, you know what? This is why you think Jon Stewart must have the easiest job in the world now, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to just quote these people.
In fairness, if anybody would understand the perils of dinosaur flatulence, it would be a Republican. That's the entire presidential campaign was running on this year, I think. So
okay.
Jesus, wow.
Okay, so that's one possibility. Then you could have, from my home state of Wisconsin, James Sensenbrenner, who really talks like that. Yeah, he does. And anyway, what does Sensenbrenner think? He believes that climate change is, quote, a massive international scientific fraud. Quote, there's increasing evidence of scientific fascism going on. And I don't know what these Republicans on the Science Committee are so into farts. Listen to this. He went on to say he went on to say, this is when he was on some panel talking about it. He said, may I suggest that we put catalytic converters on cow butts?
I know just the guy for that job, actually.
You didn't get that, Jess? Because cows do fart.
They
a
do,
lot.
and
I come from the dairy state, and I can. And when they, the America's Dairyland, there was always the thing. Hey, smell our dairy air.
Yes.
Yes. Have you heard of that? Right. Yeah. Cow farts.
Yeah.
And
they do actually produce
lot of methane.
They
gas.
Do. That is like that is an actual
gas. Thing. It is true. Cows do that. Why can't we just give them Gas X or something like that? I mean, really, that's a preventive measure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can either have Rohrbacher, they have the science committee, or Sensenbrenner, or here's
behind door number 3
is Smith, Lemarr.
Oh no,
Smith.
Yeah, Tennessee.
No,
sorry,
that'd be the great state of Texas.
Oh no.
Yeah, Lemarr Smith. Let's see. He believes there is what he calls climate gate.
Yeah, sure.
Our prominent scientists are advancing the idea of human-made global warming, that they're working together to hide contradictory temperature data.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, he might win because he at least acknowledges on his website that the climate appears to be changing. But he refuses to believe that we have anything to do.
Yeah, that's like your best case scenario in today's GOP.
Okay.
That's somebody who can actually read a thermometer but doesn't want to draw any conclusions from it.
That's right. So in all likelihood, one of those guys is going to lead the...
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if those are your choices, you want the most hilarious one, don't you?
So which one would you go for?
One of the first two, that other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the first.
Also, I instantaneously sympathize with anybody named Lemarr.
Okay, let's name Lemar's.
Lamar Alexander was the one I think I was thinking of.
Lamar Alexander, who was a senator.
Yeah.
Lamar Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Who was he?
I don't remember.
Do you own a football team?
Probably.
He was like a multi-gazillionaire.
Yeah. Like the Hunt oil fortune, I think.
Maybe so. Yeah. He was
They probably got called lamer a lot in middle school. I think that's where it comes from, my sympathy. Yeah, you got to go with one of the first two guys.
All right, well.
Jesus. That is grim. That is really grim.
Well, and, that's just, it typifies the problem of that party. I mean, there it is, sort of in a nutshell. They will not deal with reality.
The other thing is, where do you think they got this image they all apparently have of scientists?
Ooh,
did they just was every Republican big on watching horror films?
Yeah,
when they were teenagers or something.
They all think they're like Boris Karloff.
Uh-oh. Somebody needs to turn down their radio. Hello, caller.
Hey, you forgot the greatest Lemarr of all.
Lemarr advertising.
Hedy Lemarr.
What?
From Blazing Saddles. Hedy Lemarr.
Hedy Lemarr. That's correct. We did. Thank you. Wow.
Man.
And Hedy Lemarr.
Lemarr advertising was funny, though.
I thought it was. It got buried.
Yeah, it did. But I wanted to resuscitate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hedy Lemarr.
Oh, yeah, sure. But that's different. That's a last name. You can't really.
Okay. But you do know she was a science freak.
Was she?
Are you kidding?
I don't know.
Hedy Lemarr was not only one of the more beautiful women in the world, but Hedy Lemarr had the patent. She was the one who was the major scientist who actually figured.
Really?
Jess.
Don't do. I'm not disbelieving you.
Hedy Lemarr scientist.
Goodness. I did not know.
No, it's fascinating.
I don't know anything about.
Fascinating. She, along with some guy she worked with, came up with what ended up being what? Sonar or radar or something? Wow. They were trying to tell the Pentagon what they knew. Pentagon what they knew during World War II. But of course, if Hedy Lemarr comes calling with some science stuff, they don't believe it.
I mean,
what? Okay, you can't. Here, tell us what you're seeing.
She co-invented an early technique for spread-spectrum communications and frequency hopping, necessary for wireless communication from the pre-computer age to the present day.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Hedy Lemarr.
Wow.
Babe and brain.
She's gorgeous. She is so beautiful. You can't believe it.
I mean, this is the most surprising thing I've heard since I found out that Madame Curie did a magazine spread. So I... The babes of science.
That's right.
That was going to be Newsweek's final issue, by the way, until they had to scrub it off.
Well, they were going down.
Anyway.
Okay, so now, are you into this Petraeus thing at all? You have to be. It's fascinating.
Bit. Yeah, you know.
Okay, so here's the way I figure it now.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is it was General Allen who blew the whistle that got things going. Those threatening emails did not go directly to Jill Kelly.
Right.
It turns out Broadwell,
Broad babe.
Broadwell, the biographer, sent those under a phony moniker called Kelly Patrol to General Allen, waging the war in Afghanistan. She sends him this saying, I think you should be aware that that you have to be very careful of Jill Kelly. She is a seductress. She is out to get you. Whatever. He ends up taking those emails that he was getting and sending them to the seductress.
For what purpose?
I don't know. Saying, look, somebody...
Hey, you sound great.
Hey, babe.
Whoa. I heard you're a seductress.
She then panics. Why? I don't know.
Yes.
She panics and calls on this FBI guy she met at a party somewhere.
Man.
He sends her... He says, oh, I'd do anything for you, babe. And then, of course, emails her a picture of his bare chest.
So...
He takes it to FBI. He says, I'll get this to the FBI. We'll find out who's behind this. That's when it starts. And he also was a whacked-out right-winger type. So
the FBI agent who she notified who sent the photo of himself bare-chested, but then kicked this on up to his fellow, he's a right-wing crazy person.
Total right-wing crazy person. And he kept asking at the FBI, how's that going? Have you found out what? And they said, bug off. You have nothing to do with this case. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
He was obsessed. So the bare-chested FBI agent right-winger goes to some Republican congressman he knows.
Oh, yes.
Not Cantor, somebody else over on the West Coast. And he says, what do I do with this? I think there's some kind of a cover-up going on at the Justice Department. Probably attempting to, blah, 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 and keep Obama in office. So the Republican says, take it to Eric Cantor. So the bare-chested guy goes to Eric Cantor with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, do you believe this? Everybody says, oh, sex has nothing. This little curtain drawn aside where you look into the lives of people in such important positions and see at some level that they're frigging idiots.
Yeah.
Okay. So it also appears that General Allen's going to be okay on this. Actually,
because all he did was forward some stuff to somebody else, which seems weird a little bit. Wasn't there something about 20,000 documents?
Yeah, now they're saying, it does seem. And I read somewhere that he, first of all, he's sort of like this kind of guy who would, they said, respond to every email he gets. And so this idiot Jill Kelly is sending him hundreds of emails constantly. Ow! Can't wait to see you. We'll have a party for you. Oh, this happening, that happening. Just stupid stuff taking up his time when he's waging a friggin' war in Afghanistan. And he would respond back with things like, Okay, sweetheart. Okay.
Oh, so it's 20,000 emails of that.
Apparently, and they said there were often that they would repeat all the emails, and so that
I see.
But I still don't know. I guess it's 20,000 anyway.
Yeah. Maybe he forwarded along some exciting investment opportunities from Nigeria. Hey, at least I got this going for me. This Afghanistan thing isn't going so great, but really excited about some.
It's beyond belief. So Petraeus, Mr. Genius, whose judgment we rely on, chooses to have a woman who's never written a book all of a sudden become his authorized biographer.
Sure.
And also, it's quite clear now, she's got some screws loose.
Yeah. Yep.
She's a little Glenn Closian in Fatal Attraction. All right? He didn't vet her too well. Okay, so as usual, a man's gonads bring down, I guess he was good at his job. I don't know what, generally speaking, but no
generally
pun intended.
Speaking, yeah, I mean, it's,
What is it with men's gonads? I mean, you're one.
A gonad?
Yes.
I've been called worse, sister. I don't know,
It's beyond belief. Okay, so here...
I do think there's an irony about this, which is just a few weeks ago I was reading a piece in the Atlantic by I think it was Tom Ricks, who has written about national defense stuff for the Washington Post, and it was
he's beside himself.
This entire article was essentially that when you look at the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, what you really find is that when it comes to actually being incompetent as a general, not in terms of how you conduct your personal life, but in terms of like, you soldiers do this, go there and do all that stuff, that there's just that both of those conflicts have just been completely screwed over by these incompetent generals, and nothing bad ever happens to them. Tommy Franks being Exhibit A.
Right.
And you just read this
But
piece.
Ricks thinks Petraeus is the smart one.
Right, exactly. And as far as I can tell, he's probably right about that.
Right.
I saw that he had a piece today, and I think that's sort of the irony here, is these guys like Sanchez and Tommy Franks and people who just really probably had no business commanding the United States Army in these conflicts, and they're off now, and they're living, they're making their pensions and all that other stuff, and there's just been no accountability for all of the tactical and strategic mistakes that they made. And meanwhile, Petraeus maybe there's something quintessentially American about this as well. And I agree with you. There are obviously questions about his judgment, especially when you're the director of the CIA. But I wonder if this would have happened in France.
Well, of
Charles
course
not, Charles de Gaulle would have been decommissioned for lacking enough mistresses, probably.
But we've loosened up quite a bit about this kind of thing, and I don't know where I read it today, but somebody wrote that Bill Clinton substantially, lowered the bar.
Yes, God bless him. Just part of the legacy.
That's right. But that's for politicians.
Right. Yeah, no.
So politicians' sexual escapades are not really as big a deal anymore. But this ain't a politician. This is somebody, the head of the friggin' CIA.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
It's a bad one. You can't. Yeah. Sorry. So anyway, I know you're not a fan of Maureen Dowd, and I'm not either, but listen to this. I saw that did you read her today?
I didn't, but I know she does well with this kind of thing.
No, well, she goes off on her usual thing, having fun, just, okay, I'll give you one paragraph of what sounds like what you'd expect from her, but it gets serious at the end. Okay.
Ready.
She starts on Petraeus. His fall started as Sophocles and turned sophomoric. A mind-boggling melange of From Here to Eternity, You've Got Mail, The Real Housewives of Centcom, and Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay, The Real Housewives of Centcom was funny.
Okay. It features toned arms, slinky outfits, a cat fight, titillating emails, a military more consumed with sex than violence, a plot with more inconceivable twists than Homeland, and a Twitter's delight lexicon. We have an embedded mistress named Broadwell, a biography called All In, and other an other woman of Middle East ancestry who was a social liaison to the military. A shirtless FBI agent crushing on the losing her shirt to debt Tampa socialite. Oh, that's the other thing. These living high on the hog, they got nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. And a pair of generals helping with the socialite's twin sister with a custody case, and lawyers and crisis management experts linked to Monica Lewinsky, John Edwards, and the ABC show Scandal. They've been hired by Kelly. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. It's unbelievable. Okay, but here's how she ends it.
All in.
Accustomed to being a demigod, expert at polishing his own celebrity and swaying public opinion, Petraeus did not accept the new president's desire, Obama when he's elected, to head for the nearest exit ramp in Afghanistan. This is 2009. Petraeus began lobbying for a surge in private sessions with reporters and undercutting the president, who was trying to make a searingly hard call. Petraeus rolled the young commander-in-chief into going ahead with a bound-to-fail surge in Afghanistan. Just as half a century earlier, the CIA had rolled Jack Kennedy into going ahead with the bound-to-fail Bay of Pigs scheme. Both missions defied logic, but the untested presidents put aside their own doubts and instincts, caving to the experience of their betters. Once in Afghanistan, Petraeus welcomed prominent conservative hawks from Washington think tanks. As Greg Jaffe wrote in the Washington Post, they were given permanent office space at Petraeus' headquarters and access to military aircraft. They provided advice to field commanders that sometimes conflicted with orders the commanders were getting from their immediate bosses. And she finishes by saying, so many more American kids and Afghanistan civilians were killed and maimed in a war that went on too long. That's the real scandal. Well, don't you think that's an interesting point?
I do.
Here's another point of this. Head of the ACLU, Anthony Romero. There should be an investigation not of the personal behavior of General Petraeus and General Allen, but of what surveillance powers the FBI used to look into their private lives. Ooh. This is a textbook example of the blurring of lines between the private and the public. Here's the problem here, guys. The FBI, as soon as first of all, it was invited by Jill, what's her name, to please look, here's these emails. Well, what are they supposed to do? Not see that all of a sudden there's also email. Oh, they get then to Broadwell's email from her email. And then from Broadwell's, they start seeing Petraeus. And they see Petraeus and things that look like they might be things that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, man.
When will so-called brilliant people learn that putting things on email, anything.
Yeah.
You might as well be putting it
now I'm thinking about all the stuff
on a billboard. Yeah, right. Well, somebody said
God, that Lynn Cullen drives me freaking nuts.
Yeah, that's right. And they say that anytime you write something in email, imagine the one person you don't want to read it reading it, because there's a chance that will happen. I saw that you said about me. You should see what I've said about you.
Oh, I have, sister.
Oh, and Ansel reminds us that Chuck Todd reported this morning that Jill Kelly and her twin sister were reality TV stars on the Food Network some years ago. Yeah, I saw that. I'll take that to indicate she's a limelight seeker. Are you kidding? Yeah. She and her hubby moved to Tampa about 10 years ago and immediately saw an opportunity to, first of all, they buy this house they can't afford and start throwing these amazing parties they can't afford and are not paid for.
Yeah.
And they invite all the bigwigs, and sure, they, unbelievable. Anyway. And he says, and I know Pelosi is going to stay as the House Minority Leader. She was going to, she decided. And also the other thing that was solidified today is that Senator Angus King of the great state of Maine
is an independent.
But he will caucus with the Democrats.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that was coming.
But he hadn't said it. Yeah. So there you go. And there are more Democrats getting elected to the House. There's 5 outstanding races. Yeah. Democrats are leading in all 5 of those. And in the 6th, that was decided yesterday. And that's that bisexual atheist from Phoenix. Female.
Oh, dear.
Of course, a Democrat.
That's a triple threat right there.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 they could live with, probably. So what's the latest on the Allen West? I heard he was still...
He's still, that's not...
Pissing away about it. What a...
Okay. Okay, I'm not... No.
Take your innuendo elsewhere.
Yes.
Leave that to us.
I'm not sharing this latest email. We have certain standards here. All right, we got to take a break.
All right.
Okay. Taking a break.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Winter has arrived and it's cold outside, so get to Little's for all your UGG needs. Little's has Uggs for men, women, and children to stay warm with shearling-lined boots, shoes, and slippers. And don't forget to get your hats, gloves, scarves, and more. All available at Little's Shoes. Bring the entire family to view one of the largest in-store UGG shops in the U.S. Little's Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
Pittsburgh City Paper's special holiday pullout is available now. Pick up one today for listings and information on holiday festivities throughout the burg, plus the Sessions, Lincoln, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
You should share that with the audience. If they had...
Okay, well, we'll set the... Potter was saying he doesn't think either of these women are particularly attractive. And I was saying, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
When you're talking about gonads with men, I mean, they don't care. And I said there's that famous quote from, I think I'm getting it right, Benjamin Franklin, I believe to his nephew, or one of his many, many illegitimate children.
Yes, Franklin knew from whence he spoke.
Yeah. He was arguing that this guy should marry an older woman and a homely woman.
With money or something.
Well, no, because he said, first of all, homely women have to try harder. A beautiful woman, she figures, hey, here I am. They don't have to do anything. Right. Just being there is enough, know. So homely women are going to be more, attempting to, they're going to be more grateful, right? Franklin was a genius.
Right. Oh, yeah, no question.
Right.
Yeah.
But the line that I believe was spoken or written.
Yeah.
After all holes in the night are black.
That opens all kinds of doors, really.
You don't believe that? Okay, so someone's going to now say, that is an apocryphal tale, Lynn. Well, I don't know what you learned in school. What? What? A penny saved is a penny earned? And, Ben Franklin flew a kite.
Right.
And a key on the bottom? No. All holes in the night are black.
Right. This was from Poor Richard's Kama Sutra. For want of a French tickler, the kingdom was lost. Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Chris writes, Lynn, don't you think that the Kelly twins are what the Kardashian girls will look like when they're in their 50s? Sorta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're not, but see, that's a nasty thing to say, Chris, because the Kelly twins are
only
in
19.
They're in their 30s.
Oh, dear, yes.
They're 36.
Oh, well.
Idiots. And did you see this call she made to the 911? Jill Kelly?
No.
This was just the other day. There are reporters all over my lawn, and I am an honorary ambassador. Do not diplomatic. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I have diplomatic whatever.
Immunity.
Yeah. From photographers.
Actually, I think under international law, you waive that when you go on a reality TV show.
Well, it turns out, for some reason, the South Koreans had also named her an honorary.
Can't wait to see that round of emails.
You know. See, here's what I'm saying. The tawdriness of reality in Washington, D.C. is beyond belief. Beyond belief.
No, at least, but finally, I mean, the upside of this is finally we'll be able to unveil the sinister axis between Lebanon and South Korea. Apparently. Oh man, what is happening to this country, boy? Whew.
Gotta love it.
I guess.
And why aren't you talking about the fiscal cliff?
Exactly.
You see all of this frivolity, and the nation teeters. Here's a great name. Here's what Austin Goolsbee said.
Oh yeah, this is Obama's economic advisor one time.
Former economic advisor.
That's why I said one time.
Oh
yeah.
But what do you think this is? Some kind of language where the modifier comes after the noun?
Just get to the thing.
He told a bunch of business executives just the other day, hey, if you're assuming policymakers are not so stupid that they'd let this happen, hey, look, they are that stupid. Yeah. They could easily be that stupid.
Yeah. If the debt crisis didn't tell you that.
Yeah.
But there's your question, business leaders. Speaking of bad judgment,
yeah.
Like, so you voted for these guys. You didn't just vote for them. You spent $1 bajillion trying to get them elected.
That's right.
And now you're going to be surprised when they act like idiots.
That's right. So, what you going to do?
Yeah. It's your fault, pallies.
Yep. The president, as we speak, is meeting with them.
Yeah.
Business leaders. He must. Can you imagine? And here's the president.
Yeah. I hope he just puts a cigar out on somebody's forehead. just ashes into the upturned palm of the head of Bank of America or something like that.
Oh.
Of course,
and you know what I saw the other day? It was off. Home Depot.
Yeah.
Had the greatest quarter ever in its history or something. Some huge, wow, economic news. Unbelievable. They're going right like that. Home Depot CEO is one of the major Romney backers in the business community. He was the one who was darkly saying, and under Obama, we're going to hell in a where's the disconnect there? Where?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, what can you say?
He knows his own numbers are
true.
going.
That's true across the board, though. I mean, if you look at corporate profits over the past couple of years, after obviously the storm, but yeah, it's just
look at the stock market,
and all the corporate earnings are high. These guys, I mean, this is essentially the untold story, I think, of this entire economic situation. Is all these companies are sitting on massive piles of cash rather than using it to put people to work. And you can see why they do it, right? Because then you can say, well, the reason the economy is struggling is because blah, 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 we need to have better tax incentives. And once that happens, so in a way, they're the ones holding the reins. They're the ones who decide to do the hiring or not to do the hiring. And then if they don't do the hiring and the economic malaise continues,
then they blame it
then they use that as leverage.
Absolutely true.
There was a good piece on 60 Minutes just this past week. I'm like the one person under the age of 70 who watches it. And it was about, this argument about, how the American job force isn't trained enough to take these manufacturing jobs. And so the question gets asked, well, this is the same country it was 50 years ago. why are we all of a sudden not able to train these? Why don't we have these trained workers? And they got a guy from, I think it was the University of Pennsylvania, the Wharton Business School, relatively credible source, who said the difference is in the old days, the companies, the steel mills or whatever, would take you on fresh out of high school. You didn't necessarily and train you themselves at their cost.
That's right.
And what you're seeing now is what they want is for, as we have seen time and time again, you privatize the gain and you socialize the cost. Right. They want the schools to do it. They want taxpayer reimbursed trade schools to do all the training, so they can just pick and choose the people they want with $0 investment. Right. And then they wonder why these people want more money. Well, the reason they want more money to work in your manufacturing job is because they've incurred all this cost getting the training necessary to hold it, and now they have to pay back their stupid student loans. These guys are just like, it's amazing. So this is a typical mindset.
That's right. Well, that was the first sober thing that was said.
Yes.
Okay, we got a lot of emails here. We got to catch up on. Okay. Okay.
Uh-oh, there went the standards.
What did she mean by standards?
I think it was your joke about innuendo, and then we did the Ben Franklin thing. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Ray, Lynn. I am sure that the GOP men in charge would have no problem approving an FBI investigation if there was a suspected communist in the Pentagon, because they ain't no goddamn commie. But they don't want FBI investigating old man, young woman dalliances, because ain't one of them not guilty. When will we be as offended by violence and greed as we are by sex and lust?
Right, and I think that's the Maureen Dowd argument, and it's the Thomas Ricks argument. We're gonna pillory these guys for the sex stuff, but sheer incompetence that leads to bloody more asses in Fallujah and everywhere else. Nobody ever pays a price for that, except the poor bastards who are in the trenches.
Yeah. And Diane says, and we're afraid that gay marriage will ruin the... Yeah, exactly. Look what these heterosexuals are doing.
Yes.
And that's the other weird thing. Every one of these people in this story are married.
Yes. Right.
They're married, and let me guess, they're Republicans. We know they are.
Yeah. Is Jill Kelly is one?
Why wouldn't she be? Democrats don't act like this.
No.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything? I mean, that you want to... I know you have a paper out today. Is there something we're supposed to be talking about?
We do. We can discuss it. We've got, various stories of all kinds. We actually, our news editor, Charlie Deitch, spent some time tracking, compiling advertising spending numbers in the local TV market.
Yeah, and
so predictably is about $1 bazillion trillion locally. Actually, it's sort of interesting.
Which goes to what, the TV station?
Yeah. It's sort of a funny moment. I remember watching one of the network anchors I think it was Brian Williams, who was kvetching about all the money spent on advertising. He said, "I just wish we could have spent that on treating a disease." And it's like, hey, that's your salary, pal. You know what I mean? But essentially, all of these stations made millions. And this is just locally. He looked at KDKA, PGH, TAE, and WPXI.
You don't think they're going to all of a sudden start hiring more reporters and that this will have something to do with the quality of their news product. Yeah. All of that money is pocketed.
Yeah, straight to management.
Pocketed.
Yep. Yeah, and so what we found, not surprisingly, spending by Republicans and for the benefit of Republicans outweighed Democrats, but actually not by as much as you would think. Maybe it was about a 20% difference or something like that, but it wasn't some 2 or 3 to 1 margin. There were a lot of ads on both sides. So that's kind of what that piece is. And apparently a very popular show to advertise on, at least on WPGH, was 2.5 Men. I don't know why that is, but somebody could probably do an entire
don't have a clue.
Master's thesis about the political implications of
I read an article somewhere, I skimmed it, about some genius that worked for the Obama campaign who looked and crunched all the numbers of who was watching what shows, and apparently the Democrats were placing ads on cable shows that nobody ever placed ads on because they knew exactly who they were targeting.
So there you go.
Caller, go ahead.
Oh, they went away. They had 2.5 Men fan, probably. Aren't we all, though? Really?
We have to take a break.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. We'll be right back.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Does your furnace and air conditioning run nonstop? Are your heating and cooling bills too high? Call Pittsburgh Foam Insulation. Their certified installers are ready to insulate your home using the best wall insulation product available. And the owner has over 20 years experience installing insulation in homes. Pittsburgh Foam Insulation is locally owned and is not a franchise. Unlike the other guys, there are no franchise fees that will be passed on to you, which means Pittsburgh Foam Insulation is able to offer their customers a lower, more affordable price than their competitor. Call 412-856-6100 for a free, no obligation estimate, or on the web at pittsburghfoaminsulation.com.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals from the 2012 Best of Pittsburgh winners. This week only, get discounts up to 70% on admission to all Carnegie museums for the holidays. bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's exclusive e-commerce mall. bergbargains.com.
Packers.
Vikings.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we make a real difference in the building blocks of life. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly so do our communities. Real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Yes, we have a caller? Okay, here we are. Hello, caller.
Hi, Lynn. You were talking about that General Petraeus. I never thought much of the military generals anyway. I always thought the grunts, like the Marines or the Army, did all the work.
Yeah.
Didn't get paid, and the colonels get all these fabulous pensions and pay and get all these little pins on their jackets. I'm not impressed with any of those bastards. They all kiss my ass. Goodbye.
Great call. You should really, that caller and anybody else should really check out this Atlantic Monthly piece, because one of the things it says is when you look at how Iraq went, what you saw at the unit level and at that kind of lower level was people being very inventive, people using all kinds of trying to figure out all kinds of solutions.
It's sort of the middle. It's the guys, the sergeants that are doing all.
Yeah, sergeants and some of the lower officers or whatever. Just one of the examples they used was apparently there was a reserve unit. I think it was from Broward County, somewhere down in Florida anyway. And a lot of the people who were the reservists were police officers in their day jobs. And so they were really good at figuring out how to police their community or whatever. And apparently they did a really good job of driving down not just crime, but then also, attacks and stuff like that. And I can't remember what general it was in charge of the operation at the time, went to go see them because he was sort of told, you might learn something from these people. And he was just apparently took great affront at the notion that he might be able to learn something from these grunts out in the field. And so just, listened to their presentation, then just told them they didn't know what they were doing, and then he went off. So again, who knows how many people died as a result of that kind of dunderheadedness.
Hello, caller. Hello. No? Petraeus has a huge ego. Huge. Yeah. I mean, as one. But here are a few little telling things. One of the parties that he showed up to at Jill Kelly's house, he came with a 28 motorcycled police officers or something, motorcade kind of thing. No, I'm not kidding. Yeah. And he showed up somewhere relatively recently. See, one of the bad things about going to the CIA is he had to take off his military uniform. Yeah. Because then he had to wear a business suit. Right. And he must just feel he actually put all his medals on his business suit. Wow. That's sick. I was looking at a picture of General Allen. There's something so stupid about all the falderall that goes on with the military. Okay, so General Allen is a 4-star general, right? How would you possibly know? Looking at him, he's a 4-star general. I'll tell you how you know.
Because there are 4 stars on his
there's 4 here.
Oh, I see, yeah.
There's 4 here. So there are 4 on his shoulders. And then on the collar of his shirt, there's 4 on one side, there's 4 on another.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say that he was wearing earrings. You sort of reached up to yours and I was like, holy mackerel.
It's like,
don't ask, don't tell.
4-star, 4-star, 4-star. Do you realize then that every time he changes his shirt, you got to, geez. Of course, he's got some woman who does that. Jeez. What a bunch of peacockery.
So
yeah. Okay. So
never mind. There's a low road here that I'm just.
Oh,
we've
please.
Gone, no. It's fine. Go.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can I change the subject?
Sure.
Onto something that's very upsetting to me. We were going back to Sandy and the flood and the. All those people are going to rebuild.
Yeah.
All right. We got a caller. Go ahead.
Okay, here's another example. George from Moon.
Hi.
What do you mean, hi? Boy, that was slow, Keith. Boy, you guys dead. You're good listening to, but you answer the phone, you sound like corpses.
Lynn was about to gear up into some Jeremiah. That's why. So you kind of
took
it out
sorry.
of No, that's okay. Go ahead.
She was talking about military vanity decorations.
Yes.
Okay, here's a good one. I was in the Air Force, and the Air Force is particularly prone for this stuff too, not just the Army with the big stars.
Right.
The Air Force way back in the 60s, on the cap, on the formal cap that they have with the peak on it, that leather peak that sticks out,
right,
and the U.S. emblem on the top. The Army always had, for the higher officers, had these like oak leaf decorations embroidered into the leather cap.
Right.
Whoa.
And if you look at MacArthur, you can see he was way over the top. The whole hat was embroidered.
Yeah.
Okay, the Air Force couldn't be put down about that. So what they did was they developed a thing on their cap that had embroidered clouds and lightning bolts shooting out of them. Okay? And that wasn't enough. After 2 years, they still felt like they were not quite there. So for the very highest officers, they allowed them to put clouds and lightning bolts around the back rim from the front all the way back to around their back and around the other side.
Well, I'm surprised they don't embed a little chip in the hat that provides thunder.
We were waiting for that.
Just the sound
what
of
we
the
called
ride
them
of the
was
Valkyries.
Military parlance for these lightning bolts and clouds was farts and darts. That's enough.
Bye.
Oh, George. Farts and darts.
Okay, let's say you have a beachfront home. You got one of those stupid beachfront homes, blah, blah, blah. You're 10 feet from the Atlantic Ocean. And it's a little McMansion. It costs a lot of money anyway. You go looking for insurance. There's not a private insurer in the world who's going to insure you.
Right.
So, as you said before about privatization, when you can't make money on something, but you still need it, who takes over?
It's always going to be the government.
The federal government says, okay, I know these insurers won't insure you. We'll insure you.
Yeah.
The federal government, the taxpayers. So in 1968, we created the National Flood Insurance Program to insure the fools who build homes on floodplains, who build on the ocean, and that means that all of these homes that are going to be rebuilt in New Jersey and New York and all that stuff, they're insured by you.
Yeah.
They're insured by you. Here's the thing. That program should not exist. If a place is uninsurable,
it shouldn't be insured.
It shouldn't be insured, and certainly not by the people who can't afford it.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of rich people living in these places.
Yeah.
Well, then, hey, eat it.
Yeah.
Eat the loss, okay? The program already owes $18 billion to the taxpayers. That's left over from Katrina.
Yeah.
This is expected to add another $7 billion. This is insanity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the hard part there is that not all of those homes damaged in this storm were beach homes. They were
They should not be
I think
rebuilt.
there's got to be some kind of thing. And I was thinking about this, before the election. This would be a great thing for Democrats, especially if they were serious about climate change. The question is how are we going to have a debate about this thing with these Republicans? And here you've got the perfect wedge issue, right? You would think that free market, laissez-faire Republicans would have to agree, look, hey, if the private market doesn't want to do it, then maybe it shouldn't be done. That's what they're saying all the time.
That is correct.
And here's a perfect example of it. But then you look at what's happened in North Carolina, where they basically said we're not even going to take into account the possibility of sea rise and global climate change when we make calculations for what should be built on the shores and all this stuff. I think down in Florida, I can't remember exactly how this was resolved, but there was a lot of talk at one point about having the state of Florida pick up the policies for a lot of these places that a lot of insurance companies.
That's true.
And you can see why they're doing it in the sense that there's the construction industry down there that wants to keep building places up, and so Florida's government is beholden to them, and they're going to do it. But what's going to happen when the next big one comes and the entire state of Florida is looking at bankruptcy? Again, they're going to come the free market geniuses down there in Florida, the Marco Rubios and the Bushes and all those people are going to come to the federal government and say, you got to help us out. Otherwise, we're going to have to throw our Medicaid recipients off the rolls or whatever to fulfill this obligation. I mean, this is the kind of thing where where the fact that the global climate change didn't come up at all in this election, I think really hurts us, because we're just starting from square one on these issues. And you're absolutely right. The fact that this continues, and not only that, but you look out west where drought conditions mean more wildfires, and you still got rich jagoffs building these mountains, and firefighters putting their own lives at risk to protect these $750,000 homes up in the
That's
highlands
insanity.
there.
It is friggin' insane. Listen to this. Just one home in Mississippi that's been assessed at $69,000 has been flooded 34 times since 1978. Guess how much the federal program has paid out?
Couldn't begin to.
Huh?
Couldn't begin to.
Over $700,000.
Yeah.
And I heard I think it was Christie again, saying, well, we're hurting right now, but when the rebuilding starts, all of that construction is going to, goose our economy. And then it'll all get destroyed again, and then we can goose our economy. This is, by definition, insane.
And this is where, like the Dutch, for example, who have looked at what sea rise will mean and have just said, here are parts of our country you just can't build in. They're going to be they're the lowest part of the lowlands. This is the part we're going to let flood, because the water's got to go somewhere. I mean, this is basic. This is you don't even have to buy to global climate change. This is simple physics. Water, when it falls from the sky, has to go somewhere before it goes back to the sea. So where is that going to be?
Well,
how can we prevent people from being swept away?
Well, I'll tell you what, the geniuses on the House Science Committee will take that up. Jesus.
I'll get Jesus right on that.
No, but so you have a federal program in which the premiums that people have to pay in no way, shape, or form
meet the risk.
Reflect the actual risk.
No.
If that's not a winner for the private sector, I can assure you it is insane for we the people. There shouldn't be a person who isn't up in arms about this. I have spoken.
And we're done.
We are. There's a caller. Let him in.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
It's Ray from Lawrenceville. How are you?
Oh, fine, Ray.
Hello, Potter.
Hello, Ray.
Hey, listen, I had a call. I don't normally call. I'm nervous about it, but I couldn't agree with what Chris was talking about earlier and tying into the insurance as well, that there is this, especially in the manufacturing area, that I know more than I probably should, but there is a huge desire to socialize the risk, and then reap all the profits from it. I'm watching these young guys come out of what would have been union training, but now they've paid $100,000 to learn how to do $10 an hour skills.
Yeah.
And it's a crime. Some of it's actually a crime, I think.
It is. It is criminal. What an outrage.
Yeah.
And but these are so you are saying that these wonderful entrepreneurs who figure out how to do this take something that and make a buck off it.
They built it.
They built it.
Watch some Romney
I'll
ads.
tell you, I saw who built it. You know,
Yeah.
I've watched them build it, and it's fallen apart. But I want to let people know, watch in the next 4 years. They can't hold this bladder full anymore. They have been holding back what necessary investments that have to happen. It's going to happen, and it's all going to come flooding out. And my fear is that there's going to be 100 people lining up for the same piece of stainless steel, and the prices are going to go crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But listen, love the show. I'll let you close up.
Thank you. Ray is a great emailer to the show usually.
Yes.
I think that
gets on my case from time to time.
Does he?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Smart.
But I appreciate that about him.
Sokolowski bumped into him someplace.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Anyway,
that's it.
That was it.
We should have let Ray close the show. He couldn't have.
Yeah. Hey, thanks as usual. And Tom Sokolowski joins me tomorrow. And have a good day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.